Hey, so this is the R1 from Walrus Audio. It is a stereo in and out reverb unit, MIDI control in the front. What else? Software updates via USB on the side. 3 banks of presets with 3 each, so 9 on board, and then 128 via MIDI. Let's see, what else? Decay is how long the reverb signal lasts. Mix is pretty self-explanatory. Swell does kind of an auto swell thing. We'll just cover that once really briefly and then leave it alone. Tweak has 3 controls: rate and depth of modulation, and a couple other things, depending on which reverb program you're using. We've got all the different programs here. There are 6 different programs, which you can see helpfully labeled in color. And then Tune has 3 controls too. You can control kind of like low frequencies, adding and subtracting those, high frequencies, and then an X that's a kind of variable parameter based on where you are. Bypass, like a kind of sustain thing, latching situation. Press both together to do presets. We won't go super in depth through everything because there's so much to it, but let's just give you an idea of some of the things. Running mono in, stereo out to 2 amps for the full gloriousness. And yeah, so clean. It's a middle pickup. And then we'll start with the old spring. Let's just show you the swell thing. Kind of shows how long you can. So you kind of get the idea there. It's possible. Let me cover pre-delay really briefly. That just adds a little space between your signal hitting and the reverb taking over. So right now it's at 0. If I bring it up, countable delay between your strike and the reverb kicking in. I don't use that most of the time, so I'm gonna turn it off. And then just a little bit of like, this is rate of modulation with a low depth. Kind of get the idea there. We're going to leave that all the way off for now. And then this is 50-50 mix, pretty long decay. We're going to keep that through most of the things here. Let's see, tune on the X on, and I'm going to leave the low and high just kind of up the middle. You can tweak those. The X on the spring adds overdrive. Kind of a cool effect. All right, let's go toward Hall. Tune on this one is size of the room. This Hall seems to like get darker as it decays. You can sort of hear it, especially if you have headphones, you can hear it kind of closes up, which is kind of a cool feature. That's cool. Let's do plate See where we are with that. X-Knob adds kind of grit to the front end, so no grit. Mucho grit. It's like a hot plate. That's plate there. And then let's see, where are we next? We got BFR. Big effing reverb. That's what it's called. X kind of smooths out, diffuses those tap things. So all the way at the bottom, they're super apparent. Kind of crackly. Can smooth those out. You get the deal with that one. Refract does add some like glitchy things. The X-Knob changes how bright the overall reverb is and how bright the glitches are. But the glitches are controlled by rate and depth, so we got to turn up we'll turn up the rate so you can hear lots of them, and then add some depth and you'll hear it. Makes the glitches more lo-fi, kind of at the bottom there. And then air is pretty cool. It's well described. May or may not sound like another reverb you've probably heard before. And then X will kind of further pronounce the shimmeriness that's in there. And the wind, as they call it. Pre-delay is pretty helpful on this one, I found. Kind of lets your picking hit before the craziness takes over. Let's go back to Hall just for a second, and I can show you let's turn pre-delay and all that stuff back down. There's also a stereo width thing where you're in X mode, you hold this down, and then you can adjust it to narrow, and you can hear the difference. In the middle is regular stereo. You can hear it widen up. And then at the top, they call it enhanced stereo, which seems to just add modulation to it to make it bigger seeming on both sides. Just for reference, let's try let's try the air one and kind of see where we are with that. So this is narrow. Everything else was done in the center, kind of true stereo, and then let's go more. We're just past center anyway. And then just really quick with the preset thing, if we're going to the regular presets, bank A, they always start with red, and then a double click goes to the green preset, and then the blue preset. Bank B has red, green, and blue also, and so does C. So it always goes back to the first preset. So it's pretty easy to control. And then you should be able to do all this. Let's go to Hall here, and then latch one. So that's the R1 from Walrus. All the info you could ever want is in the description box below. Feel free to subscribe if you want to spend 5 minutes with some more gear. See you later.